Now presenting
the RK Ultra Podcast,
Expanding Your Minds.
whether you want it or not.
Welcome to RK Ultra. I am very excited for today's episode. We finally get to talk about Godzilla again, because we did once before. But Godzilla is so important that we're going to do it again. And this time, I brought one of my favorite people over. We have Omar, also known as DJ Davonte, on us with today.
How you guys doing? What's up?
How's it going?
It's going good.
Good to have you over here. So we're going to be talking about Godzilla. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Godzilla.
Well, let's see. Born and raised in New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey. Up there, we had a lot of old school TV shows, a lot of things that were syndicated on a Saturday afternoon when I was little. To make a long story short, without bringing on the sad note, my father passed away when I was 3. Okay, so it was just me and my mom. So I just didn't really relate to anybody else as a 3-year-old. And when I got to be 5, I started having these little weird kid nightmares and stuff. So every Saturday afternoon, I'd watch cartoons and then go outside. Well, one day it was raining bad, so I couldn't go outside and play. So my mom said, okay, just go in the living room and watch some TV, da-da-da-da-da. I put on this TV show, and it's like really old school, Creature double feature. It's a Philadelphia station up there. And my very first movie was, for the Americans, it was Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, but the original name is actually Ibira Horror of the Deep. First time ever seeing Godzilla, never heard about Godzilla ever in my life. So me being a little lonely kid at 5, watching the show, I saw Godzilla being nice to people. Like everyone was saying, he's a monster, but this monster was busy protecting the little person. So at night, before I go to bed, if I felt like I was going to have a bad dream, I would pretend Godzilla was standing outside my window at night to watch to make sure I would sleep good. So, and then my mom noticed my like for Godzilla, so she started buying the Godzilla toys. Like I had a die-cast version of Godzilla that you couldn't move. It's one of those little die-casts. They just didn't move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Solid figure.
Yeah, but if you hit a kid in the face with it, it's lights out.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. It's like, you my goddamn Legos, then it's a wrap. So my mom got me the one that was about maybe yay high, that shot the fist.
Oh.
Had the little fire tongue. Yeah. It was good enough for me, right? So I never forget. I used to put that on my nightstand at night. Every night before I went to sleep. I felt better. As time went on, I didn't really use it as much. But the creepiest thing happened one night. I think I was maybe 6. I put it on the nightstand, and I had just watched a scary movie, and I went to bed. And I woke up the next morning. The Godzilla that was on my nightstand was actually on the floor. And the fist was shot out towards the door. And in my head, I'm like, oh, he was protecting me. But ever since then, I've just been a Godzilla fan. I've always watched Godzilla movies. I went backwards and watched the original Godzillas from '54, and then Gigantus, the fire monster. I started learning more about Godzilla lore. And as I got older, I didn't know they actually kept continuing to make Godzilla movies. Because over here, we only got what we got through television or HBO or whichever channel was nice enough to play a Godzilla movie that wasn't dubbed to death.
Yeah.
So by the time the 90s hit, I discovered that there had been like so many other Godzilla movies over there. Like there's 90s movies, there's a Godzilla 2, Violante. I just got into it, and I was just like, oh, this is...
The Godzilla rabbit hole is super deep.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the most prolific movie franchise in history, I think.
Yeah, it's the longest continually running film franchise.
Yep,
and it makes a lot of money.
Wow.
Believe it or not, people laugh about it and go, it's Godzilla, why do you watch that? Shut up, bitch. No, I don't do that. I don't hit.
Yeah, I think they have 38 films.
Yeah. It's a lot of movies. A lot of time that I've spent watching.
Yeah,
That's
33
still
of them Japanese,
really deep part of my childhood.
Yeah. So you've been a lifelong fan.
Yeah, lifelong fan.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear that Godzilla was your childhood hero.
Oh,
because
that was
most people don't think of Godzilla as the protector in that way.
Yeah, if I had a kid, first thing when he turned 3 or 4 or 5, watch Daddy, look, see, look. I would do that if I had a kid, but
It's the same with me and Batman. So
Yeah.
I totally understand, especially that era. There's something magical about the movies you watch when you're a kid. Especially that Godzilla
absolutely.
era. He was protecting people and, the nice guy after the first or two movies.
But when I saw the ones where he was the antagonist, I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch this. He's being mean. He's kicking in schools and hospitals. I don't want to see this.
Yeah, it's also interesting how Godzilla changes over time, like depending on
absolutely does.
what era you find him in.
And the directors, too. Some directors have been absolutely on the nose with a lot of the storyline and the plot and everything. And some are, I guess, trying to continue the old formula that hasn't changed.
Yeah, like from the Showa era, it was like 1954 to 1975, where we had the original Godzilla movie,
yeah.
and then like Godzilla versus King Kong and things like that.
Yeah.
Things of that nature where, I love those campy old movies, even though, they're not as serious as, I think my favorite era is like the Millennium era where they have all the technology and prop gags to make it look kind of realistic. And
Yeah, they did. They tried to incorporate a little CGI with the newer ones. The Millennium series was very good. Well, let me stop lying. Okay, hold on. I'm not going to be mean because I'm not going to put it down, but the Millennium series was, I felt like that very first movie, what was it, Godzilla 2000?
Yeah,
Could have been stronger.
I agree.
Could have been a little stronger. Started great. You just reintroduced a brand new Godzilla, new outfit, new dorsal fins, new looks, new features, the whole nine. And you gave us an alien to fight at the end that absorbed Godzilla's DNA and became a Quasimodo-looking 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m.
In the Millennium era,
rough. That was rough.
Tokyo SOS was good.
yeah.
Yes, that was actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was like 4 movies in that whole block, maybe 5. I don't
2000, Tokyo SOS. I'm sorry, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yep.
Ex-Mechagodzilla. And then there's Tokyo SOS
And then Final Wars.
and Final Wars. See, I didn't know Final Wars was actually a part of that.
That's the ending of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I really think Mechagodzilla or Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS, like both standalone movies, they're fantastic.
They're
especially
good.
SOS.
They're good because they actually showed that Godzilla can actually take damage. Because every Godzilla movie we've always seen, there's a first round and then a second round, movie over. That's it. Prime example. In 1974, I'll make sure I get it right. Let me check my facts here. Let me check my facts. I don't want to mess it up. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. 74. There we go. I think we got it right.
Yep. 1974.
They met. Actually, no, they didn't meet for a while. It was actually Anguirus that met the covered Mechagodzilla first. Battled. That was a great scene. You never saw that scene is awesome. Mechagodzilla comes out of a Mount Fuji. Yes, I watch Godzilla movies.
Busted
If you don't
right
like
out. Yeah.
But Godzilla comes out of Mount Fuji. He's greeted by Anguirus. They battle. At first sight, you can tell something's wrong because the Godzilla suit was just like awkward.
Yeah.
They fight. He almost kills Anguirus. One of the first times they showed blood in a Godzilla movie. One of the rare times they showed blood in a Godzilla movie. Took Anguirus' jawline, cracked it open.
Yeah.
In the American version that's syndicated, they don't show the blood spurting out at the jawline.
Uh-huh.
In the original, the blood spurts out. You see the blood running. Good effects for the time.
Yeah.
Blood spurting out. Anguirus humbly runs away from the cyborg Godzilla. Now, Mechagodzilla and the original Godzilla, the real Godzilla, actually meet at a harbor, at a dock. They clash. More of the fake skin comes off from the right arm. Godzilla sees it, uses his atomic breath on the skin. Skin melts away. Mechagodzilla. First round, stalemate. They almost kill each other. Mechagodzilla flies back to the alien base. Godzilla is shown underwater, bleeding out. You don't remember that?
Barely.
I do. Yeah.
Bleeding out.
That's from the first 74 one,
yes,
right? Yes.
that's
I just watched that a few days ago.
Great movie.
I remember Terror a little bit better because I just
Terror
watched
is the
that
second
yesterday.
one. That's the second one.
All I know is he's the master of recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like one of his superpowers is he can take all this damage, he'll look dead, and then he'll just stand up, beat his chest, run straight back into battle.
But you know what's weird? He healed, and I don't know if you remember this too, he healed on a remote island with lightning.
Like
which
Jason.
defeated him in the Kong versus Godzilla movie. Crazy how that works, right?
Right?
Yeah,
I love how
Makes any sense.
Godzilla, he just picks up these superpowers over the films. Like one of the films, he turns himself. I think it was actually Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Where he turns himself magnetic.
Into a magnet, yeah.
He starts pulling things in and stuff like that.
Great movie. I'll never forget that.
I was like, is he magnetic now?
No explanation. They just say
Yeah.
it. They're like, no,
Yep.
yeah, he just turned himself into a magnet and he's just pulling Mechagodzilla back.
Now, mind you, King Kong just him up the movie 2 movies before with lightning hands.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah, right.
It was always my understanding that movie was supposed to be Frankenstein versus Godzilla.
hi.
Oh, it's him.
ZM.
Hey, kitty.
Get
It's
down
the only
from
kitty
there.
I'm ever going to get for the time being.
But it was supposed to be Frankenstein versus Godzilla, but either they couldn't get the rights or
Yep.
whatnot, so they just wrote in King Kong instead, and that's
Yep.
why the whole movie is getting his power through electricity.
Yeah, you're right. Frankenstein versus Godzilla would have been
Weird. Very weird.
Yeah.
They would have to do it in large Frankenstein.
which they did in Frankenstein Conquers the World, the U.S. version. They did that, but it was actually Frankenstein versus Baragon. Fact check. Fact check.
Either way, neither of those plot premises make sense, whether it's Frankenstein or King Kong, because King Kong was nowhere near the size of the original Godzilla. He was only like 50 feet tall, so they had to enlarge that character to make him a match, just like they have to do with the American films that are going on nowadays too.
If you get a chance, why don't you look up Frankenstein versus Baragon movie poster? It's hilarious. Funniest we've ever seen in a while.
Gotcha. I will have to do that.
It's embarrassing.
And, another thing about Godzilla is his iconic roar.
Yeah, the
There's-
double bass.
There's the double bass.
Double
yeah.
bass, yeah.
They
Slow it
actually
down.
they produced the roar with a pine tar resin coated glove, and they rubbed it up and down a contrabass, which is a double bass, and then they slowed it down.
Yep.
And that's what they used to create the original 1954 Godzilla roar. And
yeah, they did.
I've actually got a sound clip of some of the Godzilla roar right here, and it's honestly amazing what they can do with that sort of technology. So I'm gonna play it here.
Yeah. That's the original. I think I've noticed maybe 5 different roars.
It does make me want to run screaming through the streets of Tokyo.
Seriously, that's pretty terrifying.
Look, if that were actually reality, none of us would be here right now.
Yeah. Oh no.
Can you imagine hearing that off in the distance?
But you know the first place he would attack? Florida.
Yeah, it's a great place for a lizard.
Just sink it.
Yeah. And there'd be some idiot with a phone recording everything as he's passing by the Disney castle. I can't believe he's doing this. Stomp him in the dirt.
We were talking about the other day, there's 33 Godzilla movies. Like, how many Godzilla attacks does it take before you just abandon Japan?
Seriously, why do people stay in Japan if they know that there's
no
a Godzilla?
reason. I don't understand that either. I don't understand it. It's like, okay, if I lived in Kyoto and I got Godzilla barreling through, I'm going to collect the insurance, first and foremost, and get out. Leave. There's no reason for you to stay. Now, if soldiers said, oh, yeah, we got rid of him, he's never coming back. Okay, but if I see that big son of a bitch walking away off into the sunset, into the ocean, he's coming back. He's going to come back. But hey, I'm not going to lie to you. If I lived in Japan, I'd probably stay too.
Yeah, but
Just cause.
I guess it really depends on which era of Godzilla we're talking, because he does grow and shrink
Oh, yeah.
depending on what era.
Yeah, he
I
does.
think it goes from like 50 meters tall to 120 meters tall, or like something like that. Like, he was 164 feet tall in the original 1954
Yeah,
one.
each director had their view of Godzilla, and some I agree with. To make it seem more realistic, now, to be more realistic, I would probably go with the 1954 height.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. The ones we got now, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
it's not even like a real dinosaur at that point.
It's not
you
even
know?
like, no. It's just, the devil's here, God's coming soon.
Basically is, and that's like a good way to compare and contrast like the new American movies to the the old Japanese movies with the prop gags
Absolutely.
and the CGI. Yeah. With the CGI, they can just make them as humongous as you could possibly imagine.
We're not going to talk about the American Godzilla unless it's the legendary series.
No, the legendary series
We
for
don't
sure.
talk about.
No,
Okay.
that I'm not sure of what you're referring to. Something some
All right.
abortion made in the late '90s or something. I don't
Matthew
know.
Broderick was.
Who? Yeah.
Oh, are we talking about the 1990?
No, we're not.
No, the pet store iguana.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
Hot garbage.
I had a guy. I went to a convention. This was right when the movie came out. Was it Comic-Con? I want to say maybe 2000. And there was a guy. This is when I was still doing the bootleg videos. So I would go get bootleg videos, and this guy was standing next to me. He's like, "Are you going to go for the 198? Don't do that. Why would you do that? You're at this table." And he took it to a different level. Like, I'm a Godzilla fan. I'll watch, and I'll enjoy myself. I'll play the video games, whatever. But this guy was on a complete different level. Like, he was, "What are you doing? You're not going to buy that, are you? What are you doing? That's a horrible movie. It's Matthew Broderick. Matthew Broderick. Why would you buy that movie? Why would you buy? It's your money. Do what you want to do. I need to go." And he just walked away from me. And I just stood there like, what just happened?
Was this the vendor?
No, this was
okay.
This is another fanboy like me.
I was like, why is the vendor selling this movie?
Oh, no, the vendor.
No, it's another
So
fanboy.
they will
but-
sell you
anything.
bootleg tape.
Yeah.
Damn.
I love going to those comic conventions. We've actually met some of the Godzilla actors inside of their suits, and they got to tell their stories on the stage about how, like, sometimes it's actually dangerous being in those suits because they can catch on
Absolutely.
fire. And
yeah.
like they've done underwater scenes where like the respirator left their mouth and they almost drowned inside the suit because they couldn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them talked about being electrocuted because they're walking through. Don't worry, studio's just falling apart.
What?
It's Godzilla.
Yeah, there's-
Autograph?
No. And they're talking about like the equipment will electrocute them because they're just in the suit walking through water, and there's like servos and mechanisms that they're using.
Absolutely. Can you imagine being the guy that was operating the GOJIRA suit back in the 60s?
Oh yeah, with the 3 heads. I mean,
Being hoisted up on cables if they make mistake. Oh my God.
Yeah. Can you or wrecking a model city and then not getting the right or too
right
much
angle
smoke
of it,
or
yeah.
something or anything
And
like
then
that?
you got to do it all over again.
They got to do it all over again.
Now, I will say this, though. A lot of the buildings and all the landscapes they created back in those movies were absolutely beautiful.
Oh, for sure.
And some were actually spot on. The cities and the districts, really, really, that's nothing that stood out between. You can tell the difference between directors, where the shot's taken, and the angle, and how the city looks. In the 70s, they kind of gave up a little bit.
I agree, and I was
They kinda give up a little
if you
bit. It's
compare
like-
the original Godzilla to the 70s, the angles at which they filmed Godzilla and the crowd, it's just like it's amazing because the 1954 one is just so much better. It's the perspective is way more realistic in a
In
way.
the 70s, they used a lot of the green screen, too, especially, what movie was that? Godzilla versus Hedorah. The 70s movie. Godzilla versus the Smog Monster.
oh yeah,
Where they were getting all funkadelic with the background and the scenes and everything. It's very artistic. It was very artistic. Don't get me wrong. It looked really good.
Yeah.
But it just didn't follow a set plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Some of them
all
do get
over the
convoluted.
place. Yeah,
We're there
it was
for
all over
the
place.
for the monster clash, man.
Yeah.
Like so, and some of those monster clashes are super iconic. Like like the double kick, the triple double kick.
You had to bring that news.
Yeah, I knew
I'm
it.
leaving.
Yeah.
I had to bring that up.
Yeah, no, we loved that when we first saw it. I know it's campy and stupid, but we lost our
Do we remember which
minds.
movie that's from?
I do, unfortunately.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's Godzilla versus Megalon.
Megalon.
there it
Yeah,
is.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hits him with the triple double kick, both legs up in the air, tail dragging.
Okay, we're gonna call that the shocker because it was 2 legs and then the tail.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and then they replay the same scene again.
It's literally the same exact.
Perfect.
Pretty hilarious.
But yeah, that part of the Showa era, they were designing Godzilla to be for kids. They gave him softer features.
Yeah,
and
they did.
You know, that's why we're
rounded face, all that changed.
a lot of the
that
professional wrestling aspects they added into it came from that. You know.
Did you guys know? I want to make sure I get this right. The character of Jet Jaguar was actually the product of a contest.
Yeah.
Kids contest
Yeah, a
they
kids
had.
contest where they drew up an idea of
Superhero.
a superhero.
And
yeah.
they trimmed it up, and that kid won. And they did nothing else with the character after that.
Jet Jaguar.
They did nothing else with it. He had a couple of fight scenes, which was pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
good for what it was. And me, when I watched it when I was a kid, I'm like, okay, he's a robot. He's going to have laser beam eyes. But he had flashlights for eyes. Flashlights, and nothing came out the eyes. He did karate moves, and then they him up until Godzilla got there.
It's like a
Yeah, it's like Power Ranger
poor man's Ultraman. You know.
or that. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys something. What was your best fight scene in a Godzilla movie?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Excluding the legendary pictures.
Okay. Yeah,
Exclude,
the
yeah.
legendary. I wouldn't have drawn from those anyway because I do like those, but my favorite Godzilla movies are all the older, Japanese prop gag ones. And as I said earlier, my favorite era is just that Millennium era. I really like the end of Tokyo SOS. Where they're
It's a great battle.
yeah, that's a good battle.
Okay.
Mothra shooting the scales at Godzilla. That's how he knows he's gonna die.
You know what? That's what I loved. I love they copied that from the original Godzilla versus Mothra movie. They copied that. It's good.
I think one of my favorite parts about the enemies of Godzilla is that some of them have to be summoned by like singing, like the twin priestesses for Mothra. I think that's pretty hilarious.
Oh, let's talk about Mothra. Ooh, oh boy. Okay, you guys are familiar with the '90s Godzilla, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so right after Godzilla versus Mothra Battle for the Earth, in the early '90s, they decided to branch off with Mothra and do her own line of movies to try to collect on the cash cow.
Yeah.
Why not?
The first one, good. It's actually pretty good. But they incorporated another Ghidorah as the enemy. Like there was no original enemy for Mothra in the very first one. And the second one took place out at sea. That was a mess. It involved lots of children and Furbies.
Oh.
Furbies that urinated on you to heal you.
Oh.
I'm not kidding.
Wow. Yeah, I love a good bad movie. So that
And then the third, now that monster in Rebirth of Mothra 2 is actually pretty good. It was an original monster. It made sense, but he got his ass whooped horribly. The third in the trilogy reinvented Death Ghidorah. And we see our Ghidorah that we grew up with. And they incorporate a Death Ghidorah, a prehistoric Ghidorah.
Ooh.
That actually they said was the reason all the dinosaurs died out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a good scene.
You're talking about King Ghidorah, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah.
But they call
Ghidorah.
him Death Ghidorah. Desu Ghidorah. Desu Ghidorah.
I read a nugget about King Ghidorah that he came from like a comet or something in space after destroying the planet Venus.
Yes.
Yeah, so he destroyed Venus or made it a barren wasteland.
Yes, that was actually oh my God, what was that? That's actually when the '60s movie Attack All Monsters.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Or-
gonna
or
say,
was it
or
Godzilla?
destroy all monsters.
Destroy All Monsters. Yeah,
And
that's the one.
and going back to what you were gonna say, I think that's one of my favorite fight scenes. Is from
Okay.
Destroy All Monsters. It's got
Now, is that the one that had all the Toho line of monsters fighting Ghidorah, or just Rodan and Godzilla fighting Ghidorah?
I believe it. I believe it was most of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't make it after that.
Wait,
The ones that couldn't cut it after that.
No, I'm confused. Is that the one where they're all on an island together, where they've locked them all on an island? Oh, yeah, that movie was great.
Yeah, that's a
movie
good
was
one.
You
banger.
got Baby Mothra, Rodan, Varan the Invincible, Gorosaurus, Kumanga, which is the spider, Manila, which is an abomination that he should have pulled out. But and let's see what else. And that's it, right? I think
Something like that.
because he actually branched Gorosaurus off in the King Kong movie, the King Kong Escapes movie. They had him in that movie as well. Yeah, some of the monsters made it. The others are just they're still sitting on Monster Island, just
Being containerized by
waiting for that phone call. Just
being obscure.
they're probably sitting around in 2014 going, "Oh shit, they're doing a new Godzilla movie. Hey, we got to get ourselves ready. What if they invite us? Varan, what do you think? Oh, they're going to invite us. Maybe they will.
And maybe,
maybe.
maybe they'll want a deep cut.
new Godzilla. I know they're coming out with Godzilla -1. I think that comes out this year.
I want to say October.
Yeah.
October.
Soon.
I'm going to confirm that
Yeah,
right now.
confirm that. Yeah,
So we got-
obviously you've seen the trailer to that. That
Oh,
looks
many times.
fantastic, and even though it's
Many
CGI,
times, yeah.
it still looks very great to me.
And it's made by the Japanese. It's made by Toho, isn't it? It's one of the Japanese
Yes.
produced films, so it's on the Japanese
Yeah,
side.
that's Toho Studios.
We're in a new era of Godzilla.
Yeah, that one's the Raiwa series, I believe. That's the Japanese side, and then we've got the MonsterVerse series, which is the American side, where you get the Godzilla, the Kong Skull Island, and then all
That's
the
gonna
mixes
be
in
fantastic,
between. Oh yeah, the new Godzilla and Kong, the new Empire. That one comes out next year in 2024.
That's next year.
Yeah.
I think this Godzilla -1 is going to be along the same vein as Shin Godzilla. Because they're trying to make this like really dark.
Yeah, which is
I like that.
Yeah,
I think that's
like
good,
that.
bringing it
It's a
back
good-
to the
Absolutely.
the evil.
Really good.
the terrifying.
I got a date here, supposedly. There's 2 dates. November 1st, TIFF, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. And then in Japan, it's released November the 3rd this year.
Okay.
So
Okay.
We're going to get some.
So if you could speculate for a Godzilla movie that you would make, like what characters would you introduce into it? What sort of Godzilla would you have? Like, I want to know what an Omar Godzilla movie would be.
I don't know. I would probably try to incorporate a lot of the other MonsterVerse. Well, a lot of the Toho series of monsters. There's Toho monsters that have been in other movies.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would probably incorporate. I think GOJIRA's kind of played out. We got to get somebody else.
Yeah,
that's
it's
some more
I agree.
to it. The Biollante wasn't bad because, according to lore, he's got Godzilla cells, plant cells, and human DNA. That might work again, but I think you would have to change the design of the body.
Yeah.
You have to change the design of the body because
Something terrifying and
something a little more for your mature fans.
yeah.
Like you really don't need to have little Kenny running across going Godzilla. No.
So we want a mature, gritty.
Yeah, more dark. Like GMK was dark. Once you guys get a chance to get it, so that it's actually a little dark.
Yeah.
Shin Godzilla, dark, very dark. Godzilla -1, I think they're going to go in that same vein. I really hope they do, because Shin Godzilla is very, very good. It's paced, but the end result, you're going to watch it and go, like, I look hideous in this camera, but that's how you're going to look. Watch it. That's how you're going to look watching the end of the movie. It's great.
I like the idea of your movie though. So a nice gritty,
Grittier Godzilla.
grittier Godzilla that incorporates some of the older Toho enemies.
Absolutely.
So so maybe we can get a grittier view of some of those people.
Yes.
So I like that. That would be cool.
Are you guys fans of Gamera?
I have seen the original Gamera, but it's been a long time.
Okay, did you guys watch the Gamera series from the 90s?
No.
Trilogy. Gentlemen,
I know.
I'm upset because you haven't watched it.
I know.
Okay, well, there's a trilogy of it. Suggestion, Gamera, Guardian of the Universe, dark. Good. Gamera 2, Advent of Legion, okay, gory. Yeah, Gamera 3, The Revenge of Edis, good. because 3 incorporates way more of the human element. 1 incorporates a lot of the human element into it. They changed Gamera's origin slightly, but it's dark. It's good.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to check that out. Actually, you've given
absolutely
me
good.
a few names of older, obscure monster movies that I've never really checked out. And I'm a pretty big fan of horror.
Your knowledge prevails us.
I know.
Well, that's the reason why I wanted to have you on for this guy.
Skins.
Is I'm a nerd on a lot of things in comic books and horror movies, but I could tell by talking to you initially that you knew more about kaijus and Godzilla than I did. So,
Buddy, I am from Trenton, New Jersey. Up in the Northeast, we didn't have all this electronic stuff. We just played outside and we had comic books.
yeah, well, it's a lot like how I grew up in
absolutely.
Ohio.
Yeah, that was our fun. Like, it's fun for us to get away. There's a lot of people who use that in their businesses. There's multimillionaires who are comic book kids.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Marvel set of movies, Disney, Marvel movies, DC movies. Those guys were at one point kids,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and they grew up with a great imagination, and now they're using it to make billions of dollars and bring that same imagination to today's youth. Unfortunately, it's expensive now because now comic books are $5 compared to 35 cents when I was buying that stuff. But yeah,
But, yeah, it's great to see it go on.
yeah.
I think that's where we're going to end today's episode. Thanks for coming on, Omar. We're always happy to have you on. Is there anywhere they can follow you on social media?
Oh, yes, you can actually follow me on Facebook. I keep it simple. I do weddings and other venues as such. I also DJ in multiple clubs. My favorite place to DJ is Flagler Tavern. Flagler Tavern, I DJ there. I do the NFL show there every Sunday at 12 noon. Big shout out to the Barn in Sanford, which you guys need to go to.
I've been there once or twice. But
Big shout out to the Barn. Can I say shout out to 2 ladies?
Absolutely.
They're awesome.
whatever you want, Omar.
One's from Northeast Africa. There's a pause for that because if she's watching this, she's going to be like, that mother. Egypt. She's Egyptian. Beautiful girl. Her name is Gigi. Absolutely beautiful. Another one that I also sent a message to before I got here to let her know I was going to be doing the show and to look out for it is Jessica R. I told you I'd give you a shout out. And one more shout out, and I'm killing it. Sorry, I mean, take your time up.
No.
Hidden Skins merchandise. They take care of all your shirts, your DJ needs. If you guys need a shirt for RK Ultra, they will take care of you. They do the print and script. Look, this is absolutely beautiful. Look at this. Beautiful merchandise they do. Hidden Skins located on Robinson in Orlando.
That's some nice
Washington.
quality.
Yeah, we
Orlando.
are looking into shirts, so that's
I got you. Hidden Skins take care of it. Hope you guys had a good time. You've seen another side of me. I am a Godzilla fanatic. I do. But with my work schedule, I'm barely home to enjoy. So when I do enjoy, I hang out with these guys. These are fantastic hosts right here. RK Ultra in the place, always. They let me come in view with the way I look today. And if you ever wanted to see Hootie and the Blowfish,
And we're loving every second of
there
it.
it is.
gotcha. Well,
Love you guys so much. Love you guys. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes.
We'll do some more topics about anything next time.
thanks for
If
coming
you'll
on.
have me,
Oh yeah, we'll definitely have you on again.
kitty likes me.
Yeah,
Look at that. That means you're
he
in.
does, yes,
I'm
that
in.
he does choose, and that's how it works.
good kitty.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome anytime. So in the comments below, tell us some of your favorite Godzilla movies, some of your favorite Godzilla moments. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RKUltraCast.
Or you can find us at www.rkultra.com.
So follow us because we'll be following you.
Always.